And we are live. All right, so it is 10 a.m. in New York and 5 p.m. in Vilnius, and we have a very special guest today. We have Paulius Juškevičius, and he is from Axis Industries. And what's so special about this particular webinar is that this is the very first time the company participates in the X-Culture Challenge, and this is the very first webinar we do them ever. And so the goal of this webinar would be to introduce the company, talk a little bit about its products, maybe history, maybe special services they offer. And then we have lots of questions via email. So we will, right after a short introduction, we will switch to questions and answers. And I'm trying to group the questions by topic so that they proceed in logical order. Those of you who are watching the webinar on YouTube, as always, you're welcome to either send your questions directly to admin@xculture.org, or you can even join us. You have the link there on the page, and you can join us live here in this webinar room and engage in the discussion in person. So let's start with a brief introduction, and I'm turning the microphone to Paulius, please.
Okay, hello everyone. Well, I'm from Axis Power. And this is the company from group of companies called Axis Industries. And the group of companies works more than 1,000 people already. And the company began like 25 years ago. And it started from heating and water accounting solutions. We still have the department who sells and manufactures these devices. Well, with these devices, these devices are already sold almost in all world, for example, Malaysia or Emirates. We have also other solutions as biofuel plants and some heating solutions. And in Axis Power, we basically mostly focus on the electricity, which is high voltage. Construction, which is industrial or civil buildings, and automation solutions. What is more with the automation solutions, it varies depending on the customer, because we work in industrial automation fields as automation integrators. So it means usually the customer says the technical solution, and our task is to do that something would work. So the solutions may be the crane modernization, transportation of bulk products, robotic solutions, some management systems, what is coming into the market and is very popular, this recipe management or efficiency management systems. So we're already working with that, and it's on the wave right now. But our task is here, our group of companies is very strong in Baltic countries, in Lithuania in particular, as it's our headquarters in Vilnius. And we are doing first steps towards Western Europe, and we already sold some solution, which is high voltage montage, a little bit of construction works. And as I told you, our group has experience with selling the already made devices, which is heating solutions or water calculation devices. But we are looking solutions for service export of service. Which is sometimes tricky to arrange it as some product for the customer. So we are looking for your help.
All right, can I ask you then, let's get directly into questions, because we have many. Some students, Kimberly Lackey just sent me 16 questions from just one student. Kimberly, we will get to all those questions. We have many, but let's start with some simple things so that everybody is asking. One, do you actually make those devices? Do you manufacture them, or you just design and somebody else does the production?
We design and do the production of these heating and water calculation devices. But in this session or in this project, we do not want to focus on the product selling. we want to focus on our automation department, which is mainly the services.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. Now, can you tell us a little bit about how the industry works in general? So you would be providing the solution, the engineering solution. Who normally are the customers, and how do you normally communicate with one another? Would your customers be manufacturers? Would they be cities? Would they be companies that need it in their buildings? How does it work?
Yeah, well, the end customer is usually some kind of manufacturer, whether it's process industry or just manufacturing. But as automation integration company, we usually work for which we call for technology companies. So if technology company, for example, has the water treatment solution, yeah. So they have all the pumps, they know how to put them or where to put them, and our job is to do the automation, the controllers, the drives, and anything else, which is also the management system and so on. So one part is these technological companies. Other part is yeah. So the technology companies, what we are looking into in foreign markets is these huge companies as it would be ABB or Siemens, which are very big contractors in for example in Sweden, and do various projects, and they need some support. Yeah. Other customers would be directly end customers, but we work also. The end customer is a technology guy, the guy who knows how to make things work, and this technology. He knows that, for example, in process industry, that he needs the temperature to be risen above some certain level, and our job is to construct the system and to do this monitoring, for example, and management system to build directly to them.
That makes perfect sense. So the product, or I guess the service that you deliver to your customer, would it be just the ideas expressed on the paper, some sort of blueprints, or will you then also be the one to actually install it and to send your people to make sure that this automation works on the site?
Yeah, so we see it as a second part. We want to work as installers as well, because we see the great benefit in total in Western Europe is the price, basically. Also, we have the knowledge and all the certificates. We work the same as the companies over there. Just we have some price difference now, for the beginning. So we see this as a very good beginning for going into the market.
Makes perfect sense. I see that several people joined us right here in the webinar room, Kimberly, and and Quasi. So if you guys have any questions at any moment, feel free to chime in, unmute your microphone and ask them. And meanwhile, I'll just go ahead and continue with the questions I'm receiving via email. Several students are asking, can you give examples of specific customers that you worked with, and what specific products would they make?
Okay, so for example, I'm thinking what would be the best. So, for example, it could be the manufacturer called Mars. So probably the chocolate.
Sure. Yeah, we actually have one of the X-Culture professors who decided to leave academia and went to work for that company in the Belgium division. So we even have some people inside the company in a sense.
Yeah. Okay. So, but this is actually the group of companies, and in Lithuania they have the pets food manufacturing company over here. So we do various automation projects over there. So, for example, they are deeply into the Lean system, and we do for them various projects. What is concerning the data collection and data management system.
Right.
The same is for water treatment companies in Lithuania, which is government companies. We do for them, various control systems and management. What is, they have the water treatment station, which is quite far away from a main city. So, for example, we do the data collection from this remote area, for example. Other example may be the crane modernizations, as various, for example, construction manufacturing companies has all the cranes. So we can do the modernization. So these cranes even would work without a human interaction.
Wow, that's yeah.
Can be the yeah. And
Okay.
okay. Sure.
No, that's very interesting. So now, if you had to compare yourself to your competitors, to other companies that offer those services, what would you say are your strengths and your weaknesses?
Yeah, well, the strength is that we can offer a full solution for the customer, you know, from the idea or design and installment on the site. So this is one of the main strengths. Also, we have a lot of experience in various fields. The disadvantages is that you know, we are still quite new in foreign markets, so we don't have any brand over there. Other bad disadvantage is that all these services which I mentioned, you know, that we can do the cranes, we can do robotic solutions. It is not like a ready-made solution which you could come to the customer and said, use this and you have this savings. Yeah, and this is tricky part where we are still figuring out how to overcome this issue.
Yeah. How long does it normally take from the time somebody hires you till the time the project is completed? As I understand, it's not the case that you come to the store, you buy the product, you pay, and that's done, right? It's a long-term project each time. How does it work?
Well, usually it depends. Now we have two different experiences, you know. In Lithuania, with the manufacturing companies, for example, the project could take half year or only a month, because if engineers need something, they just do it if they see the savings in that. With the projects with government companies, it takes a little bit longer because all the procedure with the buying process. And we have already made some sales with the electrical services, which is high voltage. So it took us from first contact to first jobs about 1.5 years.
Wow.
So yeah, it was sale made for Siemens. So, you know, they had a very tricky pre-qualification system, you know, first contacts was a little bit tricky and so on. So it took quite long.
So the bigger the customer, the longer it takes to go through all the steps of procurement all the way to the
yeah, but we see that you know, if it's a big customer with a big potential, once you already made first sale, they already know you. We know his system, so we became, you know, close friends, and we got more RSVP from these customers, and it's easier to do after sales.
Makes perfect sense. Lots of questions about your international operations. On the one hand, what other countries have you already worked in? And second, even more important one, which countries you are most interested in?
Yeah, so we are mostly interested in Nordic countries. So Finland, Sweden.
And why is that? Just because they're close nearby, or there are other reasons?
Yeah, they are pretty close nearby. First reason. There is also, to tell the truth, there is biggest price advantage we see over there, because the salaries. And secondly, we already made some steps over there. In Sweden, we already have opened a company over there, but we use that company, you know, just for transactions. Well, for example, to have the registration number over there, to have a VAT number over there, so it's, you know, it's beneficial for customers over there. And we are, I don't know, in near future, a month or two, we will open a branch in Norway as well. So, you know, there is first steps already made. So we are continuing to go towards that.
Would you be interested to consider other countries if there was interest from, for example, Southern Europe or maybe the United States? First, would you be interested in that in general? And second, would you be able to deliver services at a long distance? Is it possible at all?
Yes, it is possible. But you know, further the country is, the trickier it may get. What concerns, you know, the further countries, as full project is, you know, the design, the programming works which we could do at home. It's very interesting to sell for the countries in further from us, for example, in US. Right. But what concerns, you know, installment works, these we could. I do not see the how we could do these jobs in USA, for example.
Send in your employees.
Yeah, in Europe it is possible, and we do it in Sweden now. Yeah.
The reason I'm asking is I started seeing questions from the students, and a number of them are mentioning that you mentioned that you do some work with the water treatment plants, and apparently it's a big business in the Middle East, in former Soviet Union republics like Kazakhstan, Azerbaijan, and then obviously the oil-producing states. And so students apparently see some potential there. It is far away, but you know, hopefully, if there was interest in business proposition, it's something that perhaps we could consider, or you could consider in the future. In addition, obviously, to the Nordic countries.
Yeah, it is possible. For example, in Ukraine, we did some first steps over there, and we did some small sales over there, I would say. You know, but because of the hryvnia went down, the price.
I actually was born in Ukraine, even though I left Ukraine half a life ago. I do have strong connections to the country.
Yeah, but Kazakhstan is also very interesting, and I know our company did some steps. Yeah. But I don't know why we're still not working on it.
The good news is that we have students in all of those countries that you mentioned. So this semester, I don't think we have Sweden, but we have Finland, we have Norway, we have pretty much all European countries, all of Middle East. And so hopefully there will be students in the group that will know something we don't know, maybe know somebody we don't know, and maybe something will work out in that direction. There are two students who are asking about Brexit. Does it have any impact, or will it have any impact on your business?
I don't think so that it will have any impact. As now the UK, we do not work in UK right now, and we do not have you know, we are not doing any steps to go to that market right now, like active steps. So we do not see any impact.
Now, market entry mode. So a number of students are asking about the normal entry mode or your preferred entry mode, in a sense that, let's say, for example, somebody finds a customer for you in Sweden, or I don't know, in the United States or Saudi Arabia. Would that be what we call exporting? So you basically communicate with them, you send the paperwork, and maybe at some point you send your people to install the equipment. Or would you actually have to open a subsidiary, like open an office in that country, or maybe have some sort of a joint venture? How deep do you normally go into the market when you have to deliver service? Would it require some sort of like legal presence, or would it be just communication and maybe occasionally sending your expatriates to work there?
Okay, so until well, we are open-minded, but but until now, what we were focusing and what we have reached, that we worked for the companies which is big contractors, for example, Siemens. Yeah, so they had the solution, and they had the project designs. So where we had already made the works which we have to do, and we did that. So we didn't work for the end customer. We worked for the contractors who did
right. So, and there are actually questions about that. So partners, subcontractors. So the company that hires you, is it normally the company that needs the solution, or it would be one of their engineering contractors that then finds you to do some work?
Yeah, so that it would be one of the engineering companies probably. As you know, in general, industrial automation, you know, as long as we didn't find this how to arrange it as a solution. So we have to sell as a part of the project. So this is the tricky part. The one solution which we may see is robotic solutions, which we could come and say, hey, you have two person working over there. We could build a robotic solution over there. So it may be the case, but the sales in this case in foreign countries may be tricky, as you have to move a lot to the end customers and to analyze a lot. So maybe tricky.
Yeah. How do you currently advertise your services? How do you reach your customers at this time? What channels do you use?
Now we use direct connection with the customers. So we have a sales engineers, who makes call, and two business development guys who goes to the customers and they promote directly, to get quotations and to make offers. Also, we are working on AdWords and all the CEO solutions. So in near future, I think we will release a new web pages with with the correct endings. If it's Finland, with the Finland ending and so on.
Yeah, optimized for the web search.
Yes.
As I understand, so many students are asking about marketing and promotion. So your type of services, it's not the kind of services that you would promote on radio or TV, right? It has to be very targeted to very specific people.
Yes, it's very specific.
Do you ever go to, for example, professional exhibitions or some sort of like fairs or something where engineering, companies present their products? Would that be a viable way to promote your company?
Yes, it is. And for example, our company was last year was in a Hanover mess,
yeah.
but a little bit with different products. Because for the fairs, as example, you have to promote already made a solution, some kind of solution. What are you making some kind of new, and what is it beneficial for the customer? Until now, we are aiming to the big contractors, so it's commonly more beneficial just to go as a visitor to the fairs and to meet these contractors.
Right, and then exchange cards and then talk to them directly.
Yes.
Yeah. Also, there is a student who is asking, are there any sort of professional magazines or maybe some sort of professional associations where people who may be interested in your services may either be on that mailing list or belong to that association or read those papers? Or there is nothing like that unites the people in the industry?
Yeah, there is some magazines. I don't have a list.
Right. And that would be the job for the students to find those maybe and bring you.
Yeah, there is magazines. For example, in Lithuania, definitely is, and there is this called chambers.
Yeah, like chambers of commerce.
Yeah, chambers of commerce, and we already in the Norwegian chambers of commerce, which is Lithuanian, Norwegian, and Sweden, Lithuanian. So we already into that. And if students find something, some more interesting, communities where we could be the part of, so it's very interesting as well.
Now, what is the structure of your operating cost? What is your biggest, in a sense, expense? I assume it would be probably your employees, but are there any other major expenses that you have to deal with as you're providing the service?
Yeah, it's probably is the employees.
Right. It's an intellectual product, so I guess the engineers are expensive and.
Yeah, it's engineering, and I don't know if we have to work with some IT systems. So probably usually it is given by the IT system suppliers for us as engineers to develop it. So it's not costly, or if we sell it for the end customer pays for that. So yeah, it's usually the employees' price.
Yeah, Kimberly is asking if I got her questions. Yes, Kimberly, I did get your questions via email. I'll get to them in a minute. I have some questions that were sent to me before the session started, but we'll get to your questions. And again, Kimberly and Quasi, if you guys would like to ask questions, as I said, unmute your microphone and feel free to chime in anytime. Another question about your staffing strategies. So what kind of people do you normally hire? Are all of them engineers, or you have some other types of employees? What do you look in your people when you hire them? And then how does it work when you have to send people overseas? Do you, I assume, you put them in a hotel there for a few weeks, or does it work somewhat differently?
Yeah, it basically works as you just told. Well, we hire people for the purpose, so it depends on the position. If it's
Right.
engineering position, we hire engineers. For like this business development, so it is not necessarily the engineer who works. So it usually is the project manager who likes, sales, or the guy who just knows the market or knows the engineering terms, who could do the first impression and like that. The quotations are made by the engineers who works in Lithuania, so the business development guy or sales guy do not have to know all the details what goes with the projects and like that. When we work on the projects overseas, so yeah, people usually get the hotel or some other apartment where they can stay. They get this daily money, which is necessary for if you go work overseas, and everything goes by the laws. Yes.
And are most of your employees from Lithuania, or you are also open to hiring people from other countries to maybe do some work on the ground?
Yeah, we are open for that. For the projects in foreign lands, we see the opportunity that it may be possible to hire, some local guys who knows the language very well,
Right.
and could deal with the other side project managers. So yeah, it's possible.
Makes perfect sense. Now, there are many questions about licensing and certification. Do your products, your solutions, do they normally have to be certified by the local government there, or is it more like you just send the idea and that's it? Do you ever have to deal with those legal requirements, restrictions, regulations?
Yeah, there is restrictions, and it depends on the projects. So, for example, if we take the installment works, so these installment works are regulated by the local government laws. So we have to deal with them and to do everything by the law. So
you have to first kind of research the topic and make sure that you know what the regulations are, and then meet the
yeah, but it's usually it's do not vary a lot. So we had to know this. And usually, after the project is done, the end customer or some consultancy company, which is hired by the end customer, does the inspection, and we have to fix if something wrong.
All right, Kimberly, I'm getting to your questions, and I see that we answered many of them as we were going through the discussion here. So we talked about the markets. Kimberly, do you want to switch on your microphone and maybe ask the questions that you're most interested in, because you sent so many of them, and I feel bad about not being able to ask all of them, but it seems like many of them we've covered. Would you like to join us here in the discussion? I'm not sure if you're allowed, or you may be in a class. Okay. Okay, so well, she already highlighted the most important ones. All right, so are you planning to create strategic alliances or build joint ventures with partners? It's a very good question.
Yeah, so we do not have, right now the exact strategy. So now we are like just trying to find both of these. But yeah, in the long term, we are seeing that our branch in, for example, in Sweden, will have to have some working people over there constantly, looking for jobs or doing a project management.
Yeah. Now, here is a question also from Kimberly, and I suspect the answer will be no, or at least that's always been the answer in the past, but I have to ask it. Can you provide financial statements to give us a clear view of the company finances? And I'm not sure if it would be possible at all, but here is the question.
I don't think that I can do that. I can just send, or the total turnovers of our companies, which is
right. Maybe just some general numbers. I'm not even sure if you would be allowed to release the details in general, like even if you wanted.
Yes,
But yes,
yes.
Kimberly, I suppose if you have a specific questions, if you want to see some specific figures, if you may just send it to us or directly to the company, and we'll see if that's the kind of information they can release. Who do you consider to be your largest competitor?
Largest competitor. Well, to tell the truth, if we are talking about the foreign markets, we still trying to figure out that, as it's you know, a lot of companies working in this field over there. But it's you know, the tricky part is that some big contractors, which I mentioned, may be our main customers, as well, maybe as a competitors. As if they see in the long term that if we grow some muscles in that country, we may become the competitors for them.
Mm-hmm. There is a very interesting question, and several students asked it in different forms, but are you using any distributors or sales representatives in the markets that you're interested in? Or would it be your own people that go and make those contacts?
No, right now it is our own people, which I mentioned previously. So we have someone who is doing the calls, writing emails, and other guys is visiting the country or the customers.
Mm-hmm. Now, there are a number of questions, and I wanted to hold them until the end, but they keep coming. So if students wanted to help you with finding potential customers, if they wanted to kind of put your or their proposals to a test, and so they wanted to literally find you a client, how would they go about that? So first, what kind of companies would they need to approach? And then when they come there, what would they say? What would be kind of the script or the main points that they have to deliver to get that company first informed about you, and then second, to convince them that you would be a viable engineering solution provider? How would that work if they wanted to do that?
Okay, so I would say that first target companies would be these big engineering or contractor companies, which we see have the biggest potential, you know. And the main points would be for, you know, to just take some part of the solution, which would be installment works or programming works, which may be very interesting, and some other topics, to talk specifically about them, and, you know, mention which we now first reason is, you know, the price. Second, you have to prove that we are reliable company,
Right.
with all the certificates and all the mindset of Western Europe.
Yeah.
And we can do these jobs for them.
In business for many years.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So Quasi is apparently trying to ask a question. Please go ahead. Quasi, were you trying to ask a question?
Yeah,
go ahead. Go ahead. Yes, go ahead. We can hear you.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible. Yes.
So I am from Pakistan. It's in South Asia. I researched that your company is also providing services in the biogas equipments and the plants. So here in South Asia, we have a for the biogas plants and energy, since we are the agrarian economies mostly. So not the companies here, but the
Sorry, but the lag is very big. I couldn't understand it.
Yeah, the sound keeps coming on and off.
Establishing their services. So
the question is about biofuels, and apparently it's a big market in Pakistan. And so the question is that something you would be interested in working with? And I didn't get the last part of the question, but could you talk about maybe your biofuels part of business a little?
I was saying that
the sound kind of comes in like very little bits, so we only got the part where you talked about biofuels.
Okay, so about the biofuel, yeah.
Right, yeah. So let's see, you know, biofuels in Asia, Pakistan in particular, but in Asia in general, would that, do you think, be a viable destination, a viable product, and would you be interested in doing that?
Yeah, okay, so, you know, in this, by participating in X Culture, the aim was to, you know, promote this automation solution services.
Automations primarily.
Yes.
Okay.
Also, it may cover the biomass and the biofuel automation, bioplant automation, and we have different department who works in with this turnkey solution for the biofuel.
Right.
So it's kind of two different topics, I would say. But yeah, I guess these sales guys would be very interested in building some biofuel power plant in Pakistan or some near country.
So when we talk about automation solutions, then does it mean that primarily students would need to focus on basically factories, manufacturers who may need to install some sort of automation system or control systems in their factories? Or could there be any other types of clients that may potentially be interested in automation solutions?
No, so it would be these big contract companies and technology companies. So there's kind of a lot of them. So, you know, as we build this biofuel solution, turnkey solution, so we work as technology company as well. But with the automation department, we want to work for other technology companies. So whether it would be ABB or Siemens as the big contractors, but also a lot of other companies who work in water treatment, in food transport solution, and similar industries.
Okay. There is one question that keeps coming up, and honestly, I don't know how to answer it. The naming, the branding. So your company is called Axis Industries, right?
Yes.
And then in the documentation, we also see the word Axioma all the time. So is Axioma a name of one of your products or one of your divisions? How do they correspond?
Okay, so yeah, the Axis Industries is more, you know, documentational name, I would say, and Axioma is more for.
Yeah, go ahead.
Axioma is more for the marketing. And as I told you, we are, you know, group of companies. So Axioma is a mother name of our different divisions. And, this Axioma unites 4 different branch, which is Enco, Calco, Xylo, and Solvo. So, you know, Calco and Enco is our manufacturing plants with the water calculation devices and heat calculation devices. Xylo is our biofuel solutions, turnkey solutions, metal processing plant, and similar jobs. And Solvo is automation, electricity, and a little bit maintenance services under this brand.
Makes sense. Now, there is also a question. So you work with different types of companies, apparently food manufacturers, soda, and so on and so on. Are there any specific industries that you are most interested in? Or specific types of products, I guess?
Yeah, not really specifically. We're just aiming for the big companies. But you know, in Sweden, it would be more or less, you know, all industries. If we take Norway, it's mostly oil and gas, which we have experience over there. So it may vary under the country where the students would find the biggest potential.
Okay, makes sense. Now, there is a very important or interesting question again, and it's a probably good time to ask it now. Is there anything else you would like to share with the students about your company that we haven't asked about? I think we've exhausted most of the kind of obvious questions, but anything else that they need to know in order to do a good job on your challenge?
Yeah, I'm thinking right now what would be the yeah, so I would say that you know, the advice would be going from your last question would be, you know, the aim would be if you want to be successful would be to from this our service package to find some services which we could make as a product and to offer for the end customer, and the other, you know, task would or purpose would be if we go to some certain market to find the biggest potential over there. Where, well, for example, Norway, the biggest potential is surprise, but oil and gas.
Right. Yeah.
So to find, you know, what we could do for the oil and gas directly to them, you know, and maybe to multiply this all over the country with this solution.
Here's another interesting question that I missed, but I think it's an interesting one. Did you ever have to deal with or experienced any challenges related to cultural differences? So when you work with people from other countries, have cultural differences ever played out as a problem?
Yeah, a little bit. For example, in Sweden, we had some difficulties with the project management, as our project management in here worked a little bit different than over there.
Right.
Yeah, so we had it, but mostly we solved them. As this market's very interesting, and the first priority for us, we give a lot of attention to them, and we always listen for the customer if he's happy or if he has something to say or notice about our work.
Yeah. And my hope also is that since you are engineers and you basically speak the language of math and science, hopefully that makes the communication a little easier because it's the same language all around the planet.
Yeah, but management, you know, also plays a big part over there.
That makes sense. Now, Quasi actually sent the question in text, so we can read it, and I will read it for you. So he was asking about the huge potential of biogas energy in South Asia, and the governments there are giving generous incentives to the companies that do it. So since most of South Asia is agricultural economies, access may be or your services may be in high demand in that area. And so the question is, would you be interested to operate there? And then he also says, would you be interested to invest there? But my understanding is that you're not investing, you are providing solutions, right? Is that correct?
Yes, we are providing solutions, but you know, if he will find potential benefits for our company where we could earn money over there, you know, providing our solution. So
right.
It depends what investment he meant, whether it is just to open a branch or hire some person over there, or invest to build a water treatment biofuel plant over there and earn money in some years. So it depends, but the students should, you know, come with a solution back then.
Right, right. Now, Andrea just joined us. Andrea, would you like to unmute your microphone and maybe ask the question? I see the question that you sent, but would you like to maybe ask it in person so we can? All right, so she's not responding, but she put a question here. You mentioned, or you work in Sweden. Have you encountered any management issues? And if so, would you elaborate on those differences or issues?
Yeah, we just talk about that, I guess. So we had this project management differences, but we managed to solve them. And yeah, it wasn't, at that time, it looked like very, very, you know, hard, but we managed to solve them. And mostly it was because of the project management and the lack of the, you know, or how the people work over there and how the project management deal with the local guys.
Right, maybe different management cultures, yeah.
Yeah.
There is another question from Kimberly, and she's asking, what do you think makes your product to stand out from your competition? Is it cost, design, support, or something else?
Yeah, at this point, it is the price. As we can offer this highly paid or highly valued engineering solutions, you know, design, programming, even installment jobs, basically with the Lithuanian prices to the Western markets, and we can get a pretty big price difference for the customer.
Yeah, yeah. There are several people again asking if they can ask questions live, and I think the email is actually from Quasi. Quasi, if you would like to connect again and try to ask live more questions, please feel free to do so. Hopefully the connection will be better this time. So would you like to try that? Because we're pretty much out of time. Yeah. All right, let's go to one more question here that just came in. So do you have any current legal concerns or other concerns in the new areas? Or any challenges, I suppose, that you foresee in the new markets?
I'm trying to figure out, but I wouldn't say. Well, if If we talk about closed markets as Scandinavia or Western markets, so mostly it is, this the technical regulations of, for example, electrical installation works, and so these works, which we can learn or easily know them. Other issues may be the workforce laws over there, which may apply. For example, in Sweden, the person can work only half of the year before he gets charged with the Sweden amount of monies, So one issue is that, but in other countries it may vary.
There is one question that, again, about Sweden. So lately there have been all those news about Sweden shortening its workday to 5 hours and work week to 30 or 25 hours, something like that. Is that really true? And is it presenting any problems for you?
It didn't occur to us as a problem right now. So, and we didn't speak about that with the customers. So it's not a big problem for us. But in the later, if they would make, well, I'm just a fantasize. But if they would make that, so by working in Lithuania from here for 8 hours and doing the job for the people over there, so we would get even more competitive.
Yeah, I guess you will have a little competitive advantage. Here in the United States, it's the other way. It seems like the working hours getting longer and longer, and now they expect you to be online all the time, even on the weekends. So I guess, well, we'll see how it goes. Anyway, so it's been, I see there are more questions coming. Well, let's do a couple more. We normally try to keep it to about 45 minutes, but since we have more questions, let's do a few more. You mentioned about some first steps made to enter the Ukrainian market. Are you aiming to partner with neighboring countries as well? Like, for example, Romania, Hungary, Serbia, Belarus, or other countries? How about Russia? So this one is from Andrea.
But we in these, for example, Romania or similar countries, we lose our the price difference, so we cannot offer these lower jobs as installment or programming jobs, very competitive over there compared with the local guys. So we do not really see doing job over there, and unless we will find some channels or solutions where we could be really competitive and get some advantage over there. So that's why we are aiming to the Western market.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense, especially when your labor is your major expense. You probably want to go where labor is more expensive, as you said, for the country.
What concerns Russia, so we were doing some works over there, but after this all crisis, we just lost the market. So we are not.
Yeah, and I assume again in Russia, obviously, they used to have a lot of money, and now they're going through some difficult time.
That's also the case.
Yeah. Though as the oil keeps going up in price, I mean, we'll see how it develops, but I will not be surprised if oil-producing countries started feeling much better soon enough again. Kimberly is asking a question: what is your pay grade for each level of employees you currently have? She says, like, average salaries per employee or some other sort of indication as to how much your employees normally make. And again, I'm not sure if you can release that information, but perhaps you can give us just some indication as to how much engineers in Lithuania make, perhaps we can compare it to, I don't know if you know the prices maybe for the Nordic countries, just to give us a sense.
Yeah, I don't know if I may release this information. You're right, but I would suggest,
But if we look at the average kind of engineer salaries, not in your company, but in general, let's say, for example, Sweden versus Lithuania, is the difference more like 20%, or is it like twice as much, or more? Like, what's the normal kind of difference there? I guess that's
about 30, 20, or even 40%, as we may export.
Right.
The labor for, I don't know, maybe 20, 30 euros, per day or per hour. Yeah.
So there would be a huge difference. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and you would have to look, for example, where we could work in Sweden or in these countries. Their people who's working is not working for the government lowest salary. So, and for our personnel, the lowest lowest salary is very good. So,
Right, that makes sense.
it's crucial, but it is true.
No,
So,
that's how basically the global economy operates. I mean,
Yes.
much of the outsourcing went to, for example, China from the United States specifically for that reason. We do hire some ex-culture, so we have a very limited budget, obviously being an educational nonprofit project. But lately we've had very good experience, very positive experience with outsourcing some of our support functions to particularly Ukraine, but also India and the Philippines. And so like when you need to process some data or when you need to design some, some graphic design or web page in the United States, those things literally would cost 10 times as much. And so people in those other countries do an equally good job, and in fact, in some cases, maybe even a better job for a fraction of the cost. So that makes perfect sense. Lithuania is probably right in the middle. So your salaries are not low, but there are countries where they're much higher. So it still makes you a very viable option. Good products.
yeah, and it plays like we are very close to these markets.
Right.
Also, we already have this Western mindset, I would say. All
Exactly,
the
exactly.
ICO certificates and similar.
Yeah.
It's not a problem for our company.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. And you have ISO certification?
Yes, we already
That's
have.
very good to know. We cover that in my lectures. I'm not sure if students in other countries do that, but just Google ISO and you will know what that is. It's a big deal, especially when the company goes into other markets. It's basically like a certificate of quality in a sense. And when the company may not have a big name or brand recognition in that market, if the partner or if the potential client sees that the company is ISO certified, that usually means that they can deliver high quality products. So that helps. All right, well, we are basically out of time, about 5 minutes over our normal time limit. So thank you so much for your time. I know you're busy, and I know it's the end of work day in Lithuania, so you probably have better things to do. Thank you so much for taking this hour to spend with us. And for the students, if you have any more questions, there were many emails. If I missed something, email them to me and we will forward them to Paulius, and hopefully we will answer them then in writing and add them to our frequently asked database question. So thank you so much, and we will be in touch.
You're welcome. You're welcome, and hope it was helpful.
It was very helpful. I mean, at least for me, I learned a lot. So hopefully so did the students. All right. Thank you so much.
We will see what is the results, and good luck then.
Yeah. Thank you. Looking forward.
Have a great day. Bye.